The theme of this very dry NBA offseason to me has been loyalty and how it's been significantly exposed. Now, we've heard about NBA loyalty and why it doesn't exist anymore for the longest. Personally, I felt like it died when Kawhi left San Antonio. I thought this man was destined to be a Spur forever, but he left, got traded out of the country, and immediately won a championship, showing exactly how much power players really have if they really want to flex it. I found this article earlier this year with a list of the current most loyal NBA players. It's really just the players that's been on their current teams the longest. And when I look at those top two rows and where their teams are specifically right now, I just found it interesting. Stephen Curry last playoffs pretty much carried the Warriors, averaged the most points he's ever had in a playoff run, shot the most shots, and really he didn't have no consistent offensive help. And that's ultimately why they lost. And this offseason, all Golden State really did to me is lose Bob Myers, their GM that built this whole thing, lost Jordan Poole, who they just gave a massive contract to last year, and got back a 38-year-old Chris Paul, who shares the position with Stephen Curry. Dame is damn near teamless as the season approaches. Bradley Beal finessed the Wizards organization and got to land in paradise for him. Giannis is growing frustration with the imminent direction of that Milwaukee Bucks team. And Joel Embiid is in the middle of a disaster yet again. See, the problem with NBA loyalty to me is it comes with some clear sacrifice from one side. From the player standpoint, it's normally a sacrifice of the middle of your prime, the last years of your prime, or just what's left of your championship window. And from the organization standpoint, it's normally a sacrifice of a clear direction for the team, aka the Wizards and the Trailblazers. This summer to me has been like the clearest example of why NBA loyalty is no longer a thing. Today's video is sponsored by Manscape. April is Testicular Cancer Awareness Month, and even though we're in September now, Manscaped still wants to bring awareness to the cause. Did you know 1 man every hour every day is diagnosed with testicular cancer? In fact, it's actually the most common form of cancer in men's ages 15 through 35. That's most of the guys that view my channel. Manscaped is spreading awareness all year round, and for one last time, they're bringing back their special edition TCS Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer. You might remember they were available in April and they sold out within 10 days. There's only 15,000 units available, and this is easily the best downstairs trimmer on the market. To purchase this special edition TCS Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer to support this great cause, or for more info on how you can perform simple routine self-checkups at home, visit manscaped.com/TCS. Click the link in my description right now, or use my promo code SWISH at checkout for 20% off of your first order plus free shipping. That's 20% off of your first order plus free shipping with my promo code SWISH, only at manscaped.com.
Can I give everything to the game still? Truth is, I've been asking myself this question at the end of the season for a couple years now. I just never openly talked about it. I don't care how many more points I score or what I can or cannot do on the floor. The real question for me is, can I play without cheating this game? The day I can't give the game everything on the floor is the day I'll be done. Lucky for you guys, that day is not today.
LeBron was like the first real example of player empowerment, how to use it to your advantage, how to gain leverage contractually, and how to keep teams on their toes when they have you. Even in these past playoffs, in like year 21, he's literally still doing it. That retirement hint he gave, quote unquote, after they lost to Denver, to me, that was just a message to Rob Pelinka to upgrade the team. And the Lakers, to me, they literally won the offseason, so it worked. As we know, LeBron is a master at using this leverage to his advantage, and he's really been doing it ever since he left Cleveland that first time. But if you look around the league, specifically this summer, you can easily see why the NBA always has to be viewed as a business first and never really family. Bradley Beal finally got traded from homegrown Washington, where he got drafted, to championship now favorite Phoenix, where they're loaded. A move that's perfect for Bradley Beal and extremely ideal because now he gets to play off ball if he wants to, and he's going to get the cleanest looks next to Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, obviously. This all happened practically for nothing on the Wizards side because new management, they had no choice but to trade Bradley Beal wherever he wanted to go because old management gave him a massive contract with the no trade clause. This allowed Bradley Beal to veto any trade or any destination that he doesn't really desire. And his current contract is so inexplicably large that the Wizards likely wouldn't have many suitors, especially for favorable packages. Just for the Wizards to get anything for him and to embrace a much needed, well overdue rebuilding direction and to get off that crazy contract, they had to take a 38-year-old Chris Paul. Now, luckily, they were able to flip Chris Paul for a much younger, much more fitting Jordan Poole. But that's a clear example of how organizations get screwed when holding on to a player way longer than they should. On the flip side of that very same trade, Stephen Curry. Obviously, he hasn't been done wrong in Golden State. He hasn't wasted his loyal years with Golden State. He won 4 championships. But Steph is still obviously giving Golden State unreal productivity on the court, and the team is at a very weird, stagnant spot, if you ask me. The Warriors really didn't address a lot of their problems this offseason, and Steph specifically, he deserves a shot to tie Magic and really make his case for the GOAT point guard debate. Re-signing Draymond Green is great, and keeping that big three together for possibly one last dance is great, but it didn't really tend to their lack of size, which really hurt them a lot last postseason. Getting old, unreliable, brittle 38-year-old Chris Paul is still weird, and I don't know if it was worth losing Jordan Poole for, even with the Draymond beef. And Klay's on the last year of his deal, so if this experiment doesn't work, it could possibly be a waste of the latter years of Steph's prime, and who knows, maybe the last year of the big three together. Giannis, he's now in a situation that to me seemed inevitable, where he's questioning now that he won that championship, how important is this loyalty thing really? He won that team a championship for the first time in 50 years. He won 2 MVPs and a Defensive Player of the Year wearing that uniform, and he's their leading all-time scorer. He doesn't owe much more to Milwaukee. Chris Middleton may be a good friend to Giannis, and he's obviously a big part of his story. He was like the closer to that championship team in my opinion. But I don't know if he's ever going to be quite the same with what seems to be a bad knee, and he's 32 years old. Drew Holiday has been great for the Bucks, literally a championship move 3 years ago, but he's about to be 33 on the last year of his deal if he chooses. It was great that they retained Brook Lopez and didn't lose him to like a Houston. He's a massive piece to their team, but he's 35, believe it or not. Last year, the Bucks, they were the oldest team in the NBA, and this year, they're still the oldest team in the NBA. So with Giannis about to be 29, still putting up godly MVP numbers every year, we don't even appreciate it no more. Does he want to possibly reboot with Milwaukee just to be loyal, or miss out on key free agents as their core continues to age in the middle of his prime? Or does he want to continue his Hall of Fame trajectory elsewhere, somewhere that more so aligns with his prime? And Giannis, he's on like an all-time trajectory. He doesn't really have many years to waste. Bro, look at the reigning MVP, Joel Embiid. Do you know next year, he's basically the only player under contract for that team? And he essentially has 2 more years left on that deal. That team is a train wreck right now. And even though it's things about Joel Embiid that I don't particularly like, I kind of feel sorry for him. This man already went through a messy training camp trade request that completely derailed the 2022 season with Ben Simmons. And 2 years later, he's literally in another one. Now, to be fair, it's not like Joel Embiid can completely blame Philly for his career, never making the conference finals, all that, because some of their shortcomings have been a result of his choke jobs. But for him, at almost 30, being injury prone, being an MVP, how many more times can you come into a season like this with this specific organization? I'm fully expecting a trade request sooner rather than later because the process is literally stuck. Look at the most obvious example, Dame right now. He's in a situation where he's basically teamless after 11 years of greatness for Portland. They're literally hell-bent on not trading Dame for anything other than the packages they want. And honestly, Portland, they're really in no rush to trade Dame because the longer this stalls, the more it hurts Miami and wherever they're going to be as they put their whole summer on hold for Dame. And Dame, as obviously a player that has no time to waste. It's crazy because it feels like this whole time, Dame always wanted to be loved in Portland and he always wanted to avoid this ugly, messy divorce with Portland just for this to ultimately be an ugly, messy divorce with Portland. They drafted your replacement without really any hesitation, and they're dragging their feet literally into the season with trading you, knowing that your career is on standby. Loyalty is literally dead. Even if you look at the most modern examples of somebody being quote unquote loyal, Kobe, he requested a trade. After those glory days were over with Shaq and he was still in his prime producing, he didn't want to be there anymore. Luckily, they're the Lakers and they were able to grab players to help the second half of his prime. After D-Wade won his first championship, the next 4 years were bad. They couldn't get out the first round, and they even had a season where they won 15 games. Luckily, that's Miami, and they were able to get LeBron and Bosh. After Dirk won his first championship, it literally went downhill from that. Had like a decade where they couldn't even win a playoff series. So like I said, loyalty, especially in today's NBA, it doesn't exist. It's outdated. It comes with a major sacrifice from one side, and it never really pans out. If you guys like this video, make sure you guys like this video. We're like a month away from the NBA season, so content will ramp up. Make sure you guys turn on post notifications. Follow my social media sites. Do all that great stuff, guys. And until next time, as always, stay tuned.